Bowl in Springfield, Virginia. It's the Coca-Cola National Junior Bowling Championships as conducted by the Young American Bowling Alliance. Hello everyone, this is Len Holmquist along with Don Hillman, and we are in the suburbs of Washington, D.C. at Fairlanes Bowl in Springfield, Virginia, where we are about to bring you the National Junior Bowling Championships, the Boys Handicap Division. Don, it's been an exciting week here in Virginia for all of these young fellows from all across the country and from Canada as well. I know that since you're the chairman of the tournament committee, you've had a lot to do and you're looking forward to this final round of competition.
It's been a fantastic week. We've had great participation by the bowlers and the parents, and it's been fun for everybody, and we're looking forward to a very exciting final match.
All right, let us now introduce you to the young fellows who are going to be battling for scholarship funds totaling $11,000. First off, in fourth place as we go into our championship round, from Baltimore, Maryland, Mico Barnes. In third position, from Cheyenne, Wyoming, Louis-Vigas. In second position, from Houston, Texas, Randy Jensen. And the leader going into the championship round of play from Saratoga Springs in New York, John Vandenbosch. We'll be back with our championship stepladder finals in just a moment. We are ready to go here in our opening match in the National Junior Bowling Championships. This is young Mico Barnes. He is 16 years of age, and he's from nearby Baltimore, Maryland. In fourth position, Don, he goes Brooklyn, but they all go down, and that's the only thing that counts.
In this competition, any strike is as good as any you can throw. That was a good start.
Now, we will give you the handicap spot because this is the handicap division in the Junior Bowling Championships. Louis-Vigas, and Louis, he says to himself, I'd like to have that ball back. Louis is 15 years of age, and he hails from Cheyenne, Wyoming. He's a 10th grader, goes to Central High School in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and he's going to have himself a little bit of a problem here with this spare. Looks good, but he's going to leave the 5-pin. So an opening strike for Mico Barnes, and then Louis-Vigas. He opens in the first frame, leaving the 5-pin. It's been a great week for the kids here in the suburban Washington area, Don.
They've really enjoyed themselves. They've been, I think most of them, it's the first time they've ever been to Washington, D.C. It's been a fantastic week.
Louis lets her roll. And he just stares at that 5-10 split. After an open, needed a strike, just a little bit light, and he leaves the split, the 5-7. Louis has been bowling for just 2 years, and the way he got interested in bowling is, I would imagine, how a lot of young men and young ladies start bowling, Don. Somebody asked him to come on out and be on a bowling team, and that's how he got started.
Well, the Young American Bowling Alliance provides great access to our sport. We have over 800,000 youngsters bowling in organized league play.
Mico Barnes. Again, Brooklyn. Same result as the first frame. Michael is on the tall side, Don, and he has the same problem that a lot of bowlers who are tall have. He gets to the line a little quick.
Well, I think in this kind of competition, they're a little bit nervous, and their footwork may be a little quick. But as you can see, the results are pretty good for him.
Absolutely. 2 frames, 2 strikes, both on the left side. He may want to live there. Again. And he claps for himself. Mico Barnes, 16 years of age, from Baltimore, Maryland, and he has opened here strong in our first round match of the championship finals. This is the boys handicap division. The winner of this match will go on to bowl against Randy Jensen from Houston, Texas. Louis is just not having any luck finding the pocket encouragement from someone who said relax, and he breaks out in a great big smile. Looks like a relaxing smile, Don.
Well, he is a little bit nervous, but I think all of us would be nervous in this situation. He bowled very well during the tournament. His competition with 53 bowlers, and here he is on television.
Getting some encouragement from behind, but that stubborn 8-pin will not go down, and Lewis rather slowly walks back. The highest sanctioned game that Lewis has ever had is a 226, and he just had that a matter of weeks ago. Hasn't been bowling that long, as I said, only 2 years. Doesn't remember his highest sanctioned series. He's going to go Brooklyn, and he is going to leave himself a very big split. 6, 7, 10. I think he was trying to emulate what Michael Barnes was doing, Don. Michael's had a lot of success going Brooklyn, going to the left side of the head pin.
It's hard to beat that. It was Michael has crossed over 3 times. He's got 3 strikes to show for it.
Here's Lewis. 6, 7, 10. Ooh. Good try, and he gets a nice and well-deserved round of applause. Looked like he was going to just kiss the 6 and send it over. Michael Barnes up now on lane 34. Looking to make it 4 in a row. He goes Brooklyn again and again. He's got a 4-bagger, and he is red hot here in the opening game. 16-year-old Michael Barnes trying to climb his way up the ladder to the $5,000 that will go to the winner in the championship game itself. In this match, the loser, and when you hear the amount of money, you'll know there are really no losers. $1,000 scholarship to the 4th place finisher. The 3rd place finisher is short of at least. And after 4 in a row, he finally leaves the 6-10. But Michael Barnes looking to win here $2,000 with a victory over Louis Vigas. Michael has only been bowling 1 year. Said he got interested in bowling because, well, he just wanted to get interested in bowling. It's a great sport. He found it out, and he easily picks up the 6-10, and he looks like he's been around a lot longer.
And Lewis's last game yesterday was a 219, so he's very capable of bowling a 200 game.
We'll be back in just a moment.
The Wilmington Police.
This is Len Holmquist along with Don Hillman, who is the chairman of the tournament committee for the National Junior Bowling Championship. Presented by Coca-Cola and conducted by the Young American Bowling Alliance. Luis Vega on the lanes trying to make up a huge deficit, and he gets himself a strike. And a tremendous round of applause. After opening rather poorly, Don, he seems to be the underdog, and they always cheer for the underdog.
You can see just breathing a sigh of relief. Lewis is very capable. He's a good bowler. He's bowled very well in order to make the television finals, and he finally broke through and got a strike. We should see some good bowling from here on out.
Now, he had a 5-pin handicap advantage coming into this contest, and he got a double.
Well, we have a match. Lewis is going to make it a match.
He is starting to make a match out of it. Through 4, Michael Barnes with a 108 to only a 35 for Luis Vigas, but Lewis has picked up now with that double. And Michael continues to drift a little bit to the left, but he had success there early. .245 is this young fella's highest sanctioned game, and it happened in the tournament, in the National Junior Bowling Association Junior Championship Tournament. And there's the single pin cover by Michael Barnes. Michael not having to travel too far from nearby Baltimore, Maryland to the lovely community of Springfield, Virginia for this National Junior Bowling Championship. Did very well in the competition to reach the finals, and he is doing well here in the finals. 127 through the fifth. He's got a strike in the sixth, and he's going to try to double it. And the 9. No. And Michael gives it a long look. He hit it once, he hit it twice, but it wouldn't go down before the rack came to respot it. Everybody in Michael's family bowls. His mother Carol, his father Mike, Dana, Nathan. They're the other Barnes children, and Michael covers. And through 6, he is at 146. Louis Vigas working on a double. Trying to make it 3. He's not going to get it, though. But he has closed the match up. But he is still trailing considerably. A good 4 marks, and he is beginning to run out of paper, as they say in the trade, Don.
Well, he's a great competitor. He's a 106 average bowler, and I think he's doing very well. Under the circumstances, it's difficult.
Yeah, he is a little bit dejected that he couldn't take them all down. He leaves the head pin standing. He goes open here in the 7th frame, and he'll have an 89 through 7. And this opening match is easily going to be won by Michael Barnes. And he'll move up to bowl against Randy Jensen from Houston, Texas, the 2nd-seeded player into our championship stepladder finals. Coca-Cola, the National Junior Bowling Championships. Lewis gets a good mix. Gets a good mix. I tell you, he shows more enthusiasm when he just barely misses a tough spare than he does when he gets a strike, Don.
Well, I think he realizes that he's down considerably in this match, and Michael has things well in hand.
Too much head pin. Started the crossover. Lewis, I'll tell you, he's got a great sense of humor. We asked him what type of ball he preferred for bowling, and he said round.
Round ball.
He wanted a round ball.
That's indicative of their sense of humor. Most of these kids have just been great this week. They're sharp young people, all of the United States.
His favorite pro bowler, by the way, Louis Vigas. Guppy Troop. Earl Anthony is the favorite of Michael Barnes, and Michael picks up the spare, and he's on his way to moving up the stepladder here in our National Junior Bowling Championships from Fairlanes Bowl in beautiful Springfield, Virginia. Great week of competition, all culminating with this championship stepladder finals. Michael says he likes Earl Anthony because Earl's the biggest money winner, and that's a great reason to like anybody in sports.
Well, Earl is a neighbor of mine in California. He's a great bowler. We're all aware of his abilities as a bowler, and some of these young people I'm sure we're going to see out on the pro tour.
For a first, go ahead.
He's a 112 average bowler, and as we can see, he's easily going to bowl a 200 game here. This is indicative of the kind of scoring and the ability that we have these young people.
In the 9th frame, a spare, so Michael is going to easily break the 200 barrier. Little Louis Vigas from Cheyenne, Wyoming. He traveled quite a distance. Leaves the 5-9. Louis traveling quite a distance. He's 15 years of age. I'm sure he'd like to say hello to Mother Donna, Father Bob, and his sister Lori back in Cheyenne. Told us that his mom doesn't bowl, but I I think Lewis might be able to talk her into it.
Well, I think after this tournament, certainly he's going to be a big fan of ours.
He's going to go open. Michael Barnes has wrapped up our first game here in the step ladder finals. Lewis takes a long look and a kind of reflective dip with the chin as to what has happened here in our first round match. He's bowling now in the 10th frame. He's just bowling out the string. $1,000 will go to this young fella in scholarship money. $1,000 scholarship. And Lewis still has a couple of years to go in high school. He's only a sophomore. He's 15 years of age, but somewhere down the line, he's going to remember this week in Springfield, Virginia, and he's going to remember the $1,000 scholarship that's going to help to educate him.
He certainly will. As we'll see later, Justin Romick from Kansas was our Open Division champion last year, winning a $5,000 scholarship, and he'll be back again on television.
Just missing. And he just shakes his head. He gets a great round of applause. I think he stole the hearts of our crowd here in this match. Michael Barnes. Solid 4-pin through the 9th. An even deuce. And he'll better that, of course, now. Randy Jensen, who comes from Houston, down in Texas. Or for those watching in Texas, right here in Texas. Michael taking a little extra time. He's got it wrapped up, but as each good bowler, every good bowler knows, the next ball is probably the best ball or most important ball you should ever throw. He's going to cover. And he's going to ring out at least better than 210 here. Great showing by young Michael Barnes, 16-year-old from Baltimore, Maryland. Started bowling just a year ago because he wanted to, and his dad, Mike, helps him a lot. He did well early in the tournament, bowling his highest sanctioned game ever of 245. And he's just as proud as punch of that. And he'll give us our final ball. Going to go Brooklyn again, and he's going to get a ball for a 220. Easily winning. Michael Barnes, 220. Louis Vigas in the low 120s, and we'll move on to our next match. It'll be Michael Barnes against Randy Jensen from Houston, Texas. Win.
Welcome to Inside Bowling this week. With me now is Jay Robinson, and Jay is on the AMF staff. And Jay, what does that entail?
Well, there are 3 of us bowlers out here on tour on the AMF staff, Joe Berardi, Tom Baker, and myself. And we mainly do personal appearances, grand openings, bowling clinics. I've been to Europe about 10 times in the last 7 years. And it entails a lot of traveling and a little extra work for us on our off times.
What ever got you interested in bowling to begin with?
Well, my father bowled, and he was in construction, so every time it rained, I was always, I'd look out, and if there was clouds, I'd get my bowling ball and wait for it to rain, then meet him at the bowling alley. So I started at a young age. I was like 8 or 9 when I started, and mainly it was my father. He bowled in leagues. I'd go watch him bowl, and I just got interested in it that way.
Did you bowl in the junior program at all?
Yeah, I really started in the junior program before it was real big like it is now, but I started on my Saturday morning leagues and after-school leagues.
What kind of average did you carry as a junior?
I carried about in the 160s, I would say. I didn't average 200 till I was about 17, and I went from 183 to 204, I think, and then I've been above 200 since then.
And how long have you been on the tour?
Too long. I've been on the tour for, this is my 14th year, I think. 13 full year traveling.
I noticed just a couple of minutes ago you had somebody over there helping you bowl, giving you a little bit of coaching. Do most of the pros actually have that?
Yeah, there's a lot of camaraderie out here, I think. We bowl, 35 weeks here, and like I said, I've been out here for 12, 13 years, and you get to know a lot of the players real well. In fact, most of your major friendships are out here because you're not home enough to really, meet new people. So whenever I'm in trouble, there's 3 or 4 people that I can go to and ask them, some questions. What am I doing wrong, mainly? and they'll pick out hopefully just one thing and not 5 or 6 that I can work on.
That's interesting to the bowlers at home. Most bowlers at home, they know they have problems with their game. They figure, oh, well, these pros, they know what they're doing all the time. They never have any problems, but obviously everybody's human, and you get into a bad habit now and then.
Oh, definitely, especially traveling around the country bowling in 35 different bowling centers. Like in league, you can go and hopefully the condition's the same every week. Around the country, we bowl in 35 different houses. The conditions are always different. We're either playing from the first board, second board, third board like we are this week into maybe the 4th arrow or the 20th board or deeper than that. So we never get to stay in one position and bowl one line the whole week. So there's a lot of changing, and that creates bad habits, and sometimes you're not comfortable on that line, so you'll have to correct something. It definitely puts you in a slump in a hurry.
Okay, Jay, thanks a lot for being with us here today.
Thank you very much.
We'll be right back with more of the Bowlers Gazette right after this.
National Junior Bowling Championships here in Springfield, Virginia. Moving into game number 2 of our stepladder finals, it'll be Mico Barnes from Baltimore, Maryland, and Randy Jensen from Houston, Texas. Handicap advantage goes to Randy. He has 10 pins handicap. And as you can tell, Don, the young ladies have moved into the audience here for our second game.
Well, they're really fired up. I think this is going to be a great match. We've got 2 young men that are very popular with all the contestants here in Washington, D.C., and looking forward to a good match.
Randy's got himself a strike, so we are strike here in the first frame. Randy Jensen, 15 years old, from Houston, Texas. 10th grader at Aldine Senior High in Houston. His mom is here. We'll get a shot of her a little bit later on. Mico Barnes, of course, being not too far away from Springfield, Virginia, in Baltimore, Maryland. His mom and his dad are here. Double. Fireworks in game number 2, Don.
Randy is a 101 average bowler. He started with a double. Michael is a 112 average bowler. And as we've seen, he's capable of shooting 200.
Double. You know, this is the handicap division in the National Junior Bowling Championships, but these two fellows, Don, are bowling like it's the open scratch division with no handicap.
Well, they certainly are. They realize that on the line is a chance to win a $5,000 scholarship to the winner. It's exciting. They're both excellent bowlers. Michael bowled a 220 his first game, starting with 4 strikes in a row. And here he's already got the first 2 strikes.
He's got 3. Tell you, for all their great bowling and for all the great cheering going on, these 2 young fellows look very cool, calm, and collected. I'm sure inside, though.
Yeah, I'm sure they're concerned. They are great competitors.
That time, Randy does not get up to the head pin. Still gets a great round of applause from a crowd that is now filled with many of the young ladies who participated in the girls handicap division here at the National Junior Bowling Championships. 15-year-old Randy Jensen. He is from Houston in Texas. He's only been bowling 1/2 year. That's why the low average of 101 cannot get the 8 pin to fall. That's the blind pin. And he goes open after doubling to start the match. In this match, the winner will go on and try for $5,000 scholarship. The loser in this match, a $2,000 scholarship. Randy Jensen. He is a little unhappy. 221 and a 713. 19 series for a fella who's been bowling 1/2 year and has a 101 average. Well, you know what they say about those first-year bowlers, Don. Good cover. Good cover by Randy.
Well, I think this will certainly pick up his interest, and I'm sure he's going to become a very avid bowler.
Well, I might as well add the fact that those high game and high series totals by Randy were bowled here in the tournament where the conditions have been fabulous. Michael Barnes comes back. And he's got a strike. They are responding ever so greatly to the pressure. Len Holmquist, along with Don Hillman. Don, the chairman of the tournament committee for the Coca-Cola National Junior Bowling Championships. And Don, congratulations to you and your committee. Just an outstanding job all week long here in Springfield, and for that matter, all year long. I know it's not a one-week occurrence, this thing. Michael says, I've been going left and doing well. That time he went a little too far left, and he says something to his mom.
Well, he had a smile on his face. He realizes that wasn't a very good ball, but he's a good competitor. He'll come right back.
Drops the towel.
It's been an interesting week with these young people. They've toured through Washington, D.C.
Look at this. Sorry to interrupt, Don, but look at this great mix. Never had a shot. That was one of those can't-do-it balls that did. And Randy Jensen standing there, he's got to be wondering.
Well, he knows what he's got to do.
Did it. He went out and got himself a big strike. And through the fourth frame, 104-75 with Michael Barnes in the lead. Michael opening with 4 strikes. Now here is Randy Jensen. On a strike in the 5th, bowling in the 6th. Can't double. Randy receiving 10 pins worth of handicap. So right now he's down by about 15 pins.
Randy bowled 19 games to get here. In his 15th game, he had a 207 last night. That was just before we took them duckpin bowling as one of their activities as visiting Washington, D.C.
And he's going to go open, failing to pick up the 4. And here is Michael Barnes. 220 in his first game as he defeated Barnes-Vigas of Cheyenne, Wyoming. Thought he had them all. Shakes his head, picks up his towel.
He puts him 19 pins up, including Randy's handicap at this time, through the 5th frame.
Hopefully here in a moment or so we're going to get a shot of Michael's parents who are here, and also Randy Jensen's mother, Mary, is here. He goes open, does Michael Barnes. He picks up his towel, moves over to 33, but even going open, he still has a 19-pin lead as we begin to bowl here in the 7th frame, the National Junior Bowling Championship.
Tonight's our award ceremony. At that time, we're going to be awarding $33,000 in scholarships to our champions.
Somebody in the back yelling, there it is, and there it was. Michael Barnes comes back after the open with a strike in the 7th frame. And Randy Jensen now up. Looks good. Just falling at the last moment. Big smile.
That kind of broke the ice. That's good.
Randy looks like the cat that swallowed the canary.
Well,
Or at least the 8-pin.
He knew he got a break there, and that's good. That's going to help him loosen him up just a little bit.
So both with strikes in the 7th frame. 19-pin advantage for Michael Barnes after 6. In the 8th frame, Randy. Well, he let it go, and he knew it wasn't very good. He got a fairly decent pin count out of it.
Well, he's got the entire girls handicap division of our tournament cheering him on. Try to cover this pair.
They sound a little fickle, though, Don, because when he's bowling, they cheer like mad for him, and when Michael's bowling, they cheer like mad for him.
They're friends of all the competitors here. That just shows how much fun they've been having.
Good. Got the tough 8-pin in the back. Now Michael Barnes on a strike in the 7th. Michael took a long look, turned around, walked back. Looks like he's taking a little bit of a deeper sigh now than he did in game 1, which he easily won with some heavy hitting strikes in the opening portion of that match. 220 is final. .610, he chops it. Chops the 6 off the 10, and he is not happy.
Well, he knows it pulled up on that ball just a little bit. But,
Well, they're not bowling for all the big money that they do on the PBA Tour, but this is still money in the bank, so to speak, Don, for these young bowlers.
well, they're looking forward to going on to college, and they know that scholarship will really be a big help to them.
Michael Barnes bowling in the 9th frame with a 160 through the 8th as he went open.
Michael is a state champion in the boys handicap division from the state of Maryland. And we had 53 champions, all 50 states, 2 Canadian provinces, and military command in Europe.
He shakes his head. It's a happy shake, though, because he's got him. He makes the 2-pin cover, and now it's up to Randy Jensen. Traveling here to Springfield, Virginia, just outside of Washington, D.C., from the great state of Texas. Houston. Brooklyn, 10-pin. Randy got interested in bowling, and he's only been bowling a half year. A friend got him to tag along to the bowling center one day, and he decided that he liked it. And he gives his junior bowling instructor a lot of credit for helping develop his very early skills, and he looks like he could become a very fine bowler.
I think Randy is living proof that anybody can bowl. It's a game for everybody as he covers his spread. We have 800,000 youngsters in our program throughout the United States, and we're very proud of that program. And I think Randy's going to be a big part of it. He goes home and tells people that he's a scholarship winner from the National Junior Bowling Championships. And I think kids are going to get kind of excited. We'll get entries in our tournament next year and right back to our national finals.
Well, you could tell immediately that Randy didn't like his ball as he threw his hands down on his, just above his knees, and he's got himself a 3-pin spare to try to pick up. It's the 1, the 3, the 6th. Randy needs this one. Trailing by almost 2 marks here in the 10th frame. Well, going into the 10th frame, he trailed by 2 marks. He does make the cover. And he's going to be bowling in the 170s. The mid to upper 170s with a good ball here, good count. Now remember, he has 10 pins handicap advantage over Michael. Little extra time. He got 8, and he'll end up with a scratch score of 177, overall score of 187. And now Michael Barnes must...
He can shoot 210 if he strikes out, so...
He needs a mark, though.
He definitely needs a mark.
He needs a mark to go on to our championship match. Look at this. I don't think I have ever seen a more interesting...
I think he needed just 9 pins. He could miss this and still win the match by 1 pin.
He has a scratch score right now of 188. And that is going to beat the 187 with handicap posted by Randy Jensen.
Very close match.
So he didn't need a mark. We thought he did. He only needed 9. He signals for it to go left. It went too far left. We didn't get a very good shot of it, but it's a 1-pin decision. 1-pin decision, 188, 187. Michael Barnes is the winner. I don't even think he knows it.
He didn't even realize he won.
I don't think Michael, and there's his mom and dad. And he shakes.
He went over to say to his mom and dad, I think I blew it. And they had to tell him that he won the match.
But Michael Barnes is moving on to the championship match where he will face John Vandenbosch from Saratoga Springs in New York in just a moment.
This week on Inside Bowling, I'm here with another pro bowler named Sam Zurich. And Sam, what got you interested in bowling?
Well, I've been bowling for over 15 years. I started working in a bowling center when I was 13 years old, and out of that evolved a love for the game that's been with me for 15 years now.
And did you ever bowl when you were a junior in junior bowling program?
Yes, I did. I bowled in a junior program for only 1 or 2 years, and then I got interested in a major league right away when I was 16 years old. And that got me out of the juniors right there.
Do you remember what your average was when your last year in the junior program?
My last year in the junior program, my average was, I believe it was about a 198, and that's when I was 14 or 15 years old.
Like, let's say if it was me wanting to come into a tournament like this, a PBA tour, how would you get into it? How do you get started?
Well, first off, you'd have to have an established average of 190 for 2 years in succession, and after that you'd have to get a couple notes from your prominent businessmen in your community stating that you have a good attitude toward the game and you're a competitive player, and after that you have to send your entry, all your papers into the PBA, and then after that, once you get verified and accepted, you have to go to a PBA school.
This year you won some kind of a sportsmanship award. You know, I'd like to congratulate on that, but can you tell me what it was about?
Sure. It's called the Steve Nagy Sportsmanship Award. It was dedicated after the late, great Steve Nagy, who was a great professional bowler, and he was a great competitor in the sense of sportsmanship. That's why they named it after him. It's an award that exemplifies good sportsmanship on and off the lanes out of all the touring players, and the good part about the award is it's voted by the touring players, so it really means a lot, and it's a very big honor for myself to get that award.
Well, congratulations on that, and thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, Dave.
And that'll be all for this week on Inside Bowling. We'll be back after this with more Bowlers Gazette.
Ready now to begin championship play in the National Junior Bowling Championships, presented by Coca-Cola and conducted by the Young American Bowling Alliance. In our first match, it will be the boys handicap division pitting Michael Barnes and John Vandenbosch. Michael Barnes, Baltimore, Maryland. John Vandenbosch, tournament leader from Saratoga Springs in New York. Ready for championship play now in the boys handicap division. John Vandenbosch, who has traveled to Springfield here in Virginia from upper New York State, Saratoga Springs, great horse racing area of our country. John is 15 years of age. He attends Saratoga Springs High School. He's a 10th grader there, and he has been bowling for 2 years. Tournament leader, $8,000 in scholarship money on the line. in this championship match. Makes the cover. Opens with a spare. And now Michael Barnes, who has climbed his way into this championship game with wins over Louis Vigas of Cheyenne, Wyoming, and Randy Jensen of Houston, Texas. Michael, a 16-year-old from Baltimore, Maryland, and not having too far to travel to compete in the National Junior Bowling Championships here at Springfield, Virginia. Let's talk about handicap advantage, Don.
Well, right now, Michael with 112 average has 88 pins handicap, and John with a 118 average has an 82 pin handicap.
This will give Michael a 6-pin handicap advantage.
So Mike Barnes, who just picked up his spare, has a 6-pin handicap advantage. Championship match, $5,000 scholarship funds to the winner, $3,000 to the runner-up. Randy Jensen, third-place finisher from Houston, Texas, $2,000 scholarship. Louis Vigas of Cheyenne, Wyoming, $1,000 scholarship. Gets away from the split as the 4 falls, but he still has to go after the 6.
Michael is averaging 204 for his 2 television matches that he's bowled so far, so he's doing very well for himself for 112 average bowler. The winner of this match is going to receive a $5,000 scholarship. Second place, we can't really call him a loser, is going to win a $3,000 scholarship.
Michael Barnes going by, failing to cover in the second frame, leaving a little bit of room for his opponent, John Vandenbosch.
John, interesting thing, John's father, who was in this building watching him for the entire tournament. John's father is so nervous right now. This minute he's outside of the building, pacing in the parking lot. He just can't take the pressure. Look at his son.
Didn't want to be on TV, huh?
Did not want to be on television.
Now, John, I'm sure, is glad that he's here because I'm sure he has his eyes set on college. And a $5,000 or $3,000 scholarship is going to go a long way toward helping that dream. He's got them all. He's got a big double here, putting the heat on Michael Barnes, who has so far, well, he won his first match very convincingly, and then he thought he maybe had blown his second match when he had indeed won it by a single pin. And now Michael running into all sorts of trouble, the trouble that he did not experience in his first 2 matches.
Well, Len, the first 2 games he started with 4 strikes in a row in each game, and it gave him a chance to have a little breathing room. This game, of course, is taking on a completely different complexion.
He's going to go after the pin count.
Very nice try.
He goes after the pin count. Michael's got a rather unusual habit of taking his towel and dropping it right at his feet as he starts to bowl. He's only been bowling 1 year, not even quite 1 year. Started bowling in September of '83. Big strapping youngster. He's got them all. Michael had to give up baseball and football playing because he has some ear problems. And he has switched to bowling and has found success, especially here in the National Junior Bowling Championships. John Vandenbosch. Looks like he dumped it just a little bit. Got away from him a little bit. And on his double, he'll have to go for the 2-pin spare. Second-year bowler with a fingertip grip.
John's also using 2 different balls, one for strikes and one for spares. The second ball is drilled for him. It's a little bit harder shell ball. Doesn't hook as much, and he's able to throw the ball into the corner. The ball slides a little bit more, gives him a straighter shot.
Well, you know, Don, considering that he's only been bowling 2 years, and considering a lot of the competitors in this tournament have only been bowling a few years, and he's got himself a tough split now, they must read the Junior Bowling magazine, because they pick up these things about ball weights and ball conditions and lane conditions so quickly from the magazine.
We have a magazine from our Young American Bowling Alliance called the YABA World. Our editor, Gene Yeager, out of Greendale, Wisconsin, does a tremendous job. You're absolutely right.
Don taking a shot at the big split.
The magazine gives tips to our youngsters, to our membership of over 400,000 or 800,000 people. It's an excellent publication, and young people like we're watching Michael. He's had his name in the paper. If he keeps throwing strikes like this, he's going to have his photograph on the cover more than likely.
Michael Barnes off to a slow start, but now he has picked it up a bit. He's on a double. As we move into the 6th frame. Michael with a 6-pin handicap advantage. Looking for the ball to go left, giving it directions on the lane.
Just behind Michael, Stacy Carton, one of the corporate officers for Fairlanes, where Michael works. Michael works as a porter in one of the bowling establishments in Baltimore. Although he works in a duckpin center, so he doesn't get a chance to practice.
For those around the country who are viewing and not too familiar with duckpin bowling, Don, can you give us a little bit of an insight on what is the difference between duckpin and regular 10-pin bowling?
Duckpin bowling is an interesting game. It's commonly known as a small ball game. It's a very small ball held in the palm of the hand. They're bowling at very short pins. You're scoring basically the same as 10-pin bowling, but you get 3 balls in a frame, and it's a very difficult game. A person on a professional tour could be a 125 average bowler and have the ability to bowl on a tour. We'll see John opening. John with 102 through the 6th frame. Very close match, Len. Very close match at this point.
John a little disappointed with 2 straight opens here. 7th frame action. John on lane 33 at Fairlanes Bowl in Springfield, Virginia. Gets a good mix from the left side, and they all go down. He wanted that strike. Michael drops his towel. He's ready to go. Late falling 4-pin. Second late falling 6-pin. Look at the concentration.
The match is so close. We have a 9-pin lead by Michael Barnes, challenger, to the tournament leader, John Vandenbosch.
We'll have a tough spare coming up here, but John Vandenbosch's dad, Donald, is out in the parking lot pacing. Michael Barnes' mom and dad, Carol and Mike, they're sitting right nearby. They may wish they were in the parking lot pacing.
It's a difficult spare, you're right. The sleeper, the 8-pin sleeper, makes this a very difficult spare. You see his concentration. He knows this is late in the match, and he definitely needs to cover this.
But he doesn't get the sleeper, the 8-pin. Michael goes open, and he is 133, scratched through 8. Add his handicap pins in, he has 139. He has 6 handicap pins advantage over young John, 15 year older, from Saratoga Springs, New York, looking to get to the head pin. 7 is still there. can see the sea of blue from the young fellas, all receiving their National Junior Bowling Championship shirts to bowl in. Something to take home with them?
One of many, many memories they're going to have from the 1983 National Junior Bowling Championships.
John goes open. So they're both open, and we can give you the score. It's 139 to 130 as we move to the 9th frame. 9-pin advantage for Michael Barnes.
Well, we count 139, and then you're right, because we have 6-pin handicap advantage by Michael Barnes, so it's a very close match as we enter into the 9th frame.
John Vandenbosch. Let me make a correction on the last name, Vandenbosch, B-O-S-C-H, and he's got all 10 in the pit, putting the pressure on this 16-year-old, Michael Barnes.
That got away from him.
Michael just lost that one. Lost it completely. And he will have a very, very difficult spare to pick up.
Now this kind of spare, he's got to go head on to make sure that the ball drives through the 5-pin. He's got to have the 5-pin's got to hit the 8-pin on this shot, and the ball has to go back and hit the 9-pin.
It's evident you've done a little bowling instructing, Don.
Well, you've seen I've thrown a lot of bad balls too.
Good cover.
Very nice.
Great cover by Michael Barnes. Pressure situation all the way.
Definitely a clutch shot.
$2,000 the difference in scholarship funds. $5,000 to the winner. $3,000 to the loser. Let's make him a runner-up.
Runner-up. That's
no loser
sure
whatsoever. We've already handed out $2,000 to Randy Jensen from Houston, Texas. $1,000 to Louis Vigas of Cheyenne, Wyoming. Both of those defeated by Michael. And Michael's got 9 here to open the 10th frame. 158, including his handicap, through 9. Don's doing some quick mathematical figuring. He's going to tell me what John Vandenbosch is going to be confronted with in the 10th frame, what he'll need.
Well, Michael needs to cover this spare. He has a potential 178 game with his handicap.
He's got the spare covered. Now he needs a big fill ball.
With a strike here, it'll give him 172 plus his 6-pins handicap of 178. And of course, that means that in order for John to win this game, he's going to have to get the first strike in the 10th frame. He can win, but he must have the first strike in the 10th frame to do it.
Michael, of course, you saw him taking the long look.
He needs a good count on this ball.
He got them all. And he ends up with a 178 with his handicap. And now the pressure is really on John Vandenbosch. He needs a double.
The spare won't do him any good.
He needs a double. Got to get the first one
Has
first.
to have the first strike.
Michael Barnes is our winner here in the boys handicap division of the National Junior Bowling Championships, Fairlanes Bowl, Springfield, Virginia. This young fella right there, John Vandenbosch, who traveled here from Saratoga Springs in New York, is going to finish second, receive $3,000 in scholarship funds. As he bowls here in the 10th frame, he needed a double. Failed to get the first strike. He knows all is lost as far as the $5 grand is concerned, but I'm sure that Dad out in the parking lot.
$3,000 is going to buy a lot of books. And this young man certainly deserves it. He's done very well for himself in this tournament, and he'll have memories that he'll be able to tell his friends about this for a long time.
The leading qualifier, John Vandenbosch. They give him a round of applause here. To the young men who bowled against him during the week.
Michael Barnes has started in 4th place this morning.
Michael Barnes, somebody's trying to get an interview with him right now, and he is just overcome with happiness. Michael Barnes is our champion here in the boys handicap division, defeating John Vandenbosch. We'll be back to talk with Michael and his $5,000 scholarship presentation in just a moment.